Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cars and Bids. I'm Kennan.
I'm Crazy Nick.
And I'm Tyler Hoover of Hoovies Garage.
And today we are talking about the most baller cars that you can buy for 50 grand. This is something you are incredibly well versed in.
I've done them all.
You've done them.
Is there one that I haven't? I would love. The nice thing about it, you mentioned earlier, are you worried you're going to run out? And it's not going to happen because the newer cars are depreciating faster than ever, and they're getting crappier than ever for the most part, to where the new Hoopties are being born every day, so it's a never-ending supply.
Exactly, the beautiful natural cycle of depreciation.
Yes, very much so.
And you also love this realm of cars.
Yeah. I like to buy Hoopties and then give them a fourth life, basically.
The sloppy seconds, you got one.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Crazy Nick, sloppy seconds Nick. But we're going to talk about $50,000 baller cars. Let's go. Okay, so $50,000. That's the absolute limit. No
50.
cheating.
That's a lot of cheddar, man. That's
50 grand.
More than I made my first year out of college.
That's okay.
That's twice as much as I made my first year out of college.
Good. That's
Yeah.
What, I don't know. That's more than I made at my first year.
Yeah, yeah.
So a good number to
It's a
start
good
with.
number.
All right, Tyler, let's start with you with your Aston Martin.
This Vanquish. So yes, you get a carbon fiber backbone, basically an aluminum chassis. You get to be James Bond, and when James Bond finally came back in an Aston Martin, the last Brosnan movie. And yes, it does have that flappy paddle gearbox that Doug Leon calls a tip or whatever. And of all the flappy paddle cars of the E-Gear and the F1, this one is the most crude and the most annoying, but it is still such an experience to drive it with the V12. The gear shifting, just the way it feels so special for under $50,000 that this is just the obvious choice to me, and that's one I've had for going on 4 years now.
4 years, and it's been relatively good to you.
It got around, so Ed Bullion bought it at first from Colombia, the country, from a drug lord, imported in for Car Trek, immediately needed a clutch. Clutch went in. He drove in the Trek. It was miserable. It was misfiring, no air conditioning. So then Freddie bought it. So Tavares, he went through, made it really nice, then sold it to me. So it's the only car where all three of us have owned it.
Yep.
Wow.
Sloppy thirds.
I'm sloppy thirds on that. And I've had to do some fixes, but nothing too crazy. It's just been nice to look at. And
look at it.
It's a great experience.
Have you priced out the manual swap?
50 grand.
50 grand? And
Plus tariffs, plus shipping.
okay, and there's no one in America that can do it?
No, only Aston Martin will do it, as far as I know, and they want it shipped to England. They do it. You pay all that.
Don't you feel like Car Ninja could figure it out, or Car Wizard?
Oh, I mean, they're doing it everywhere now. I don't know.
It's interesting. I don't think there's as much demand for it. I mean, because the cars, as reflected by the value, are just not that high of demand. That said, I think that is a shame. I agree with you. It's one of my favorite cars that I've driven. I just love the sound and the looks and the
Here's
feel.
the thing. Yeah, it has that terrible, like if you were driving every day in traffic gearbox. This is not a car you're going to drive and own and daily.
Right.
So as far as something fun for under 50 grand where you get a really exotic driving experience, with a slightly clunky gearbox when you're driving in traffic, but then like when you're accelerating and driving hard, it makes sense. I mean, that's when it comes alive. It's perfect. It's the perfect car.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we could end the video right now because they're not going to have anything better than that.
It is baller. If I saw one sitting around, there's actually a guy in my neighborhood who street parks one and just drives all the time, leaves it outside, and every time I pass by it, I'd stop and look at the car because it's just it is so good looking. But sticking along the theme of English cars, we move to your choice. And this one's very near and dear to your heart because you own one.
Yes, I own one, and
For
depending
now.
on when this video goes up, it could be already sold or for sale.
Nick.
In our Nosh. Now, I'll caveat it's well under 50 grand. So you have two options. You could save the delta for your maintenance bills, which you will need, or you could save it for Ubering around when it's in the shop.
There it is.
But
I feel
it
like
is...
this is me like clutching when I talk about Escalades with so much love and affection.
It's a special driving experience. The 4-speed automatic actually suits it really well. You got 600 foot-pound of torque. You look like you're gonna fire someone's dad. It is as baller gets, because not only is it like you're not new money, you're old money, right? Like this is Succession. This is just like...
I feel like this is mainstream enough at this point that everybody knows how bad these are.
Maybe.
I feel like you could go newer Connie GT and you'd look more baller. The Super Sport we had on our list, but there wasn't one in a coupe that was older that sold for under 50. I would go Connie GT over these any day of the week and look more baller and just have a better car.
Yeah, Conti GT's probably or a Flying Spur, which is also gettable in like that 40K range. I prefer the Arnage just for that old money vibe to it, but if you actually want this to drive and it's not just about creating the appearance of wealth, then yes, the Continental GT, which also has that image of I'm the fourth owner and paid a fraction of the price for it.
I think I agree to an extent.
People hated you when you drove this. They hated you.
That is true. In this neighborhood, which is a very cool, hip neighborhood, I drove around and it let me borrow it. Yeah. And I've never been yelled at, cut off, or flipped off more. And I was just driving around at 30 miles an hour. They just thought I was some rich...
That was my first driving experience of a Ferrari in San Diego as a rental
really?
in a 360 Spider, and I got cussed out and flipped off within 20 minutes of getting in the thing.
What year was this?
Oh, it was 15 years ago.
Okay,
yeah.
So it was still like
fairly new.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I think that you hit on something there. I think that. I don't know why I experienced it in this car, to be totally honest with you. This looks like kind of an old, charming car. When I see this now, it's like I don't think baller so much as I think insane, which is why you own it. Or I also like kind of tip my hat because like there's a masochist who is like just dealing with the pain to drive around with that kind of torque. And
that's right.
I get that.
I don't see baller. I see like, what an idiot. But
right.
Connie GT, most people are like, wow, look at the...
Not just an idiot, a rich idiot.
Yeah.
All right? That's
there
a
you
special
go.
kind.
Right.
The best kind.
But Conti GTs, I think I would agree with you a little bit more, Tyler, at like the $35,000 mark, because you can get them.
Well, you get a facelift of one that looks a lot. You can get those for about 50.
Yeah, that's true.
There's
this one.
Yeah. That looks really
looks new,
expensive and modern and super baller.
I don't know. If you've ever been on Turo.com, you've seen 100 of these for rent for like $200 a day. But
okay, pull up to South Beach in Miami and like who's arriving? Or you're not sorry, you're trying to sell it. I'm not helping.
No, it's a piece of crap. You're just being honest. I also thought about the Azure, like you had Jean-Claude Van Damme sold one.
Yep.
Those are rough. Those are more expensive than the sedan.
I sold that for just under 50. Didn't I? 42? Yeah,
something like that.
2001. Yeah, it's at the very bottom.
Also a painful ownership experience from what I understand.
Not bad for me. I mean, the previous owners, there was 2 top repairs in this car's history where it was $10,000 each time when the top had dramatic failure.
When I worked at Marshall Goldman, the only convertible we were not allowed to put the top down on, the owner of the dealer came and did it, was Arnage's. Or Urzer's, rather. That was just like, yeah, they're very scary. Very scary.
It's so violent, the top operation. You can see why, because it's just, of course it breaks.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Yes. But Bentley naturally does, I think, fit quite nicely into that world.
Okay, Thomas Kennan, come on.
All right. I also picked an English car. So this 78 Corniche one. Now, because this car has gone through the phase of it depreciated and kind of was uncool, and then I think it's kind of gone through ironic cool, has come back up to cool again. If I see someone driving this and they're leaning in like they have the cigar and they're like putting on the whole part, that to me is pretty baller and timelessly so. This car has been like, you could rock that look from when it came out in 78 all the way to now, and it's still, like if you drove around Car Week, for instance, in a Bentley, like we were talking about, like an Arnage, you might get noticed in, but a newer Continental, I don't think you will. This, though, someone would notice you in this. And yes, you have to do the whole Grey Poupon thing and all that stuff. But I think that to me just is like upper level class, a little bit more baller in that sense.
I'm in for one of those for sure. No. I mean, I've had the 4-door. I've never had a Corniche. I am so like hot on Corniche. That's something down the road.
What's wild too is they had the Corniche 1, 2, 3. They just kept putting a new number after it, like an iPhone.
And different bumpers. Yeah, it was just like, okay. Yeah,
what are you doing here, guys? And they looked the same, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, like there were small updates, but they basically ran them for like 30, 40 years, where like all you got was like a new Roman numeral at the end.
Look at that carpeting.
Yeah. Yes.
Come on.
Lamb's wool and mineral oil. That's what you're smelling.
It gives me old like West Hollywood vibes. Like you were a movie producer and you got out before the Me Too movement, but like you absolutely would have gotten canceled if you stuck around.
Right.
Like that's kind
you
of
knew Hitchcock. Like you had a standing lunch with him once a month. Yeah. That's how I feel about those guys. So that I think kind of fits in that realm. But we all picked an English car.
Yeah, they do
as our
depreciation
second
law.
choice, they do. As our second choice, we also then all kind of two of us picked something sporty, and Nick picked a Nick car.
Yeah.
Tyler, you picked Ferrari 456. Which,
Yes.
love those
Yes,
cars.
I had one for years that I got for under 50 with a gated manual, which is pretty impossible nowadays. You'd have to get the automatic, and I get that it's a sacrifice, but you're still getting a V12 GT Ferrari with beautiful Pininfarina styling, so comfortable, so high quality, and all that stuff. The looks, you hear it looks like a Ford Probe in some dip angles and things, and okay, I get the criticism, but this is it. As far as like Ferraris for under 50 grand, you can get some terrible 360 salvage titles or whatever. This is the only one where it kind of makes sense and you can get a nice one.
I agree with that. I think because really it's like 308 is kind of in this range, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have 12 cylinders,
It'd still be a hard one to find a nice 308 for under 50. It'd still be
tough.
It's pretty easy to find one of these for under 50. That's nice.
That's a good point. And I think also I agree with you that I love the way these cars look. I do love the way they drive too. It's very 550 is what it feels like. It's from that right era, that Montezemolo era of Ferrari, and this one also is an N, so it's a modificata, so it's got the little updates and things, which is very nice. But yeah, I think for 50 grand, I couldn't agree with you more. That's the Ferrari to buy. How do you feel about 456s?
Didn't your mechanic Danielson have to like take this apart multiple times, and it was a little tough?
Mine was, so the windows are the big thing where that is a crazy deal where the windows won't seal and you have the wind noise and all that stuff. But then the V12s, I think they eat valve seals or something like that, if I remember the issues.
Valve guides, yeah.
So, valve guides. So you do have to tear down the engines for those, but it's that's a one and done. We're not talking great cars, but we're talking about ballers on a budget.
Yeah.
Like this, okay, you can get a nice Ferrari for under 50 grand, and yeah, you might get hit with that $15,000 valve guide job. But yes, I did have to have the heads torn off of it because it had been rebuilt, actually. It had only 3,000 or 4,000 miles on it, but sat for so long that it started knocking or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I bought it from the Middle East, from Dubai.
That's what it was. I knew it
And
was some type.
somebody in Dubai rebuilt the engine, didn't do a good job, and then I think the torque down for the head bolts kind of let loose, and the head gaskets went.
It was another Car Trek car, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Gosh, that was such a great series. We need another one soon. I know you did one fairly recently.
Yeah, that was in my protein bar phase, and I kind of and then the soy protein gave me so much gas that I was just farting nonstop in it, and I didn't realize that I was like they finally had to say something to me. It was like every time they go to turn on the GoPros for the Car Trek, the film crew it was like nobody wanted my car because I was basically crapping myself in it for the whole week.
Nice.
It didn't smell like that when I sold it, but yeah, that's what they remember of that car from Car Trek.
Okay, that's a nice piece of Hoovie trivia. Thank you for that. That's wild.
I was trying to bulk up,
Yeah, we know the game.
You look pretty fit. You're doing all right.
I'm trying. Yeah, it's getting harder as I get older.
That just does for us all. Now, Nick, you picked a car that was not sporty at all. Actually,
No.
even less sporty than the Arnage.
Although
but I
also
do agree
a
with the choice.
Hoovie car, a Maybach. I think your budget for 50 only gets you a 57, but that's plenty.
Well, I mean,
This
you can get
is a 62.
That's a 62.
This one's a 62?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right at
exactly
50?
I'd probably prefer the 57 myself because you probably don't have the money for a driver, but yeah.
You probably could find a 57S for 50. I don't know if you sold one on Cars and Bids.
We've sold a couple,
But
yeah.
that having the big roof and the 62 as far as the baller on the budget,
Yeah.
a long wheelbase with the big roof where you open up the doors and it is insane how nice that interior is. On the outside, of course, not as ostentatious as a Phantom, which it'd be hard to get a Phantom or a Ghost
Yeah,
for under
very
50. So that would not work. But this one, yeah.
You just got to do the Dumb and Dumber thing where you pull up to the airport as the driver, then you crawl to the back, roll down the window, and then talk to people like you've been driven. So
Right. Yeah, this one didn't have the partition though. So that's what mine has, the partition at home. I would honestly, if I were buying another one, it would be without it because you can't go very far back in the seat and you're kind of upright driving it.
Yeah.
Where this, obviously, wouldn't have that issue.
I desperately want one. I've seen all of your YouTube videos and all the challenges you've had sourcing parts and all that, but still want one.
I had one bad one, the 57 that was wrecked, and then the 62 has been overall fairly reliable car.
I'm surprised you still have it. You've had it a while, right?
It's just, I sell it, what do I replace it with? It's not worth a whole lot. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Mine has 103,000 miles. How many miles does this one have?
This one had 84.
84, so it's a little bit up there. But I feel like with mine having 110 at this point, like it was going to be 30s, and it's like, okay, I sell it. Like what else am I going to get? This
yeah.
Shoot me a text when you're done with it. How about that?
Well, I paid 44 for it. I need 44 for it.
We'll do a slightly different
That's what I did with the SLR McLaren today. He just bought it from me.
I like the 30s comment earlier.
Well, that cheapskate Nick, yeah. Well,
Editor, send me the clip where he says it's low 30s. I heard a low.
Bought the SLR from me, and I wasn't ready to sell it, honestly. But I always put a number, and it's like, okay, if I get what I paid for it, before the auction fees years ago, I'll let it go. And you did. And I was momentarily upset, and I was like, I've got the Gull Wing. They've used that camera angle that's there. And I'm like, oh, I'm okay. It's okay.
I can't believe you have that car. I can't believe you have an SLR and you
I know.
that. That's just ridiculous.
Men of taste over here.
Yes. But boy, those cars they have such presence. But on the topic of presence, I picked my last car that I picked for this.
Nice segue.
Thank you. I'm good at that. The last car I picked for this, the other stuff was very luxury focused, but I was thinking if you wanted to make a shock and awe sort of like supercar, what kind of supercar can you get for that?
Yeah.
There's only one real answer, and that's the Dodge Viper. This one sold for $49,000. The SRT10 still looks modern-ish. I drove this one around a little bit while we had it here at the office, and
yeah,
car people also kind of freaked out about it, but in a different way. But everybody thought that it was something really special and unobtainium. Normal people, whenever I would drive it somewhere. Mm-hmm. So I think it's baller in a less soft, cushy sense and more like a damn sort of sense. And it does have that shock and presence.
Yeah, and the great noise, normally aspirated V10, 500 horsepower.
Yep.
And I've had two, one salvage, one not. I had a black, just like that. Yeah, it was great.
These cars are really underrated. It is the first gens now have surpassed these. The second gens have been gone for a little while, especially the GTSs. But these we sold one for a silver one for 35, I think, or 33, something crazy like that. They're an enormous
It's nice to have windows. It's nice to have a top.
It's nice to have, yes.
Yeah, so
yes, it is.
It's actually, the seats are actually comfortable. The interior's a little less crude. Still crude.
It's still very crude.
But not compared to the Gen 1, it's a Maybach 62. But
exactly.
Yeah, I'm in for sure. I've been in twice, I guess. Yeah.
I would like to own one of these cars at some point. I'd like to own a first gen. The first gen is just so cool looking. We were at the Peterson. There's one parked next to an XJ220, and it holds its own next to that car. And that's not easy.
Well, and I'm from Kansas, and you guys have it spoiled in San Diego, but until you have to put the toupee on, and it's the same thing with mine with the Mercy Roadster. I'm in Kansas. It's either way too hot or way too cold, and you put that hideous toupee on the Mercy or the first gen Viper I had, and it just ruins the car in every way.
Yeah,
and so that kills it for me.
I've had to do the zipper thing on the windows, and it's not ideal. But like you said, I live here. I don't really need a roof. It's a great luxury to have.
You enjoy your taxes there.
That's what we're paying for.
Crazy is of the 6 cars we picked, you've owned 5 of them.
Well, okay, it's not the Corniche.
Not the
I've had the 4-door.
Yeah, and you basically have that too. Let's call it 5.5 out of 6.
I'm working on it. Yeah, that's
pretty impressive.
I'm glad that I picked one that you haven't had.
Yeah,
that's not an easy feat. Not an easy feat at all. But those are our choices for 50 grand. Any one of those I would be thrilled with. I think they are baller.
Since you've had 5.5 out of 6 of them, which one would you do again if you had to do it all over?
Oh, well, I still have 2 of them. So, I mean, the Viper is definitely a good choice. But I think that the Viper was the most fun for the money. There's other cars for me to drive, so I just kind of got rid of it. But that's probably, I definitely do a Viper again. Yeah, that's great.
Viper Maybach. There's your Tyler Hoover 2-car garage for $50K each.
It's a great
2-car solution.
It is,
and you'd end up in the Viper probably more because it would actually start and work. Yeah.
Yes, good old Viper crudeness. Can always count on it. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Those are our choices. Comment down below what you would choose. What baller car would you pick for $50,000? Thanks for joining us, guys. That was a lot of fun. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Goodbye. Bye.